Kamen Gaim technically is the very, 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 very first Kamen I ever watched, and I think if it wasn't for Gaim, I would have been as interested as I would be today. So I don't think I've ever been so excited to make a video in my life, because Kamen Gaim was technically the very first Kamen I ever watched, because when I was growing up, I was a big ass fan of Power Rangers, and then there was this YouTube channel called MMPR Toys, where they were reviewing the toy for Tokyuger, and then as a kid, I looked up Power Rangers trains, and then the very first thing that popped up was the Gaim and Tokyuger crossover, and I'll even show it. This is the very, very, very first time I ever watched Kamen Rider Gaim. This scene. Let me turn it up. And as a kid, this was like when Tokyuger was new and Gaim was like halfway through. I thought this was really cool. And when I was trying to learn how to read better, I would always go back to this scene so I can read it, because I always thought it was funny. I just think it still is funny after all these years. And actually, I found out my brother, I call him Gohan, knew what this was, and as long as I can remember asking, hey, can you show me what this is? Hey, can you show me what this is? Hey, can you show me what this is? And then he finally gave up during quarantine. He was like, here's a link, watch Kamen Rider Gaim. I always called it Kamen Rider Gamma, because that's how I thought it was spelt. But apparently it's like Gaim, and I really, 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 really loved it. Like, I was originally supposed to start with Gaim, but then I got into O's. I'm like, I just try. I probably won't like it, and I'll just give it a try. Holy crap, was I wrong? And I'm like, I want to skip, but I'm on Forza. I want to skip, I'm on Wisdom. I'll just wait a month. And then that month was very long, and then once I got into Gaim, I was like, finally. This is like very weird, and I actually love the way they henshi. I just showed how they, like, the original one with the orange, but there are other versions, like how there's a soda one, the mix of soda, and then like something else that I can't say because I'm terrible with words and names. I'm actually gonna show it right now. Okay, the form that he's about to do was the thing I forgot the name of. What that says. I think it's really cool. This is the form where he fights with flags and has a dubstep gun. I'm actually gonna get to that later. And that's the soda belt. Okay, so there's a fruit belt and there's a soda belt. This is the soda belt. Yes, that is a very weird sentence. And they henshi with these things called lock seeds. The fruit ones are rank A and these are rank S, I think. Okay, they all have their, like, I try to keep playing. They all have their gimmick of, like, the way they henshi. And I always think it's kind of cool. And I always think the seeds are kind of cool. And they also, with the soda ones, they get bow and arrows, which I think this is also meant to be a blade automatically. But with the fruit ones, not this, they get like random weapons. Oh yeah, and I just now realized that these are meant to be straws, because it was pointed out to me. And then if you're given a certain device, you can actually mix them. Like, for example, lemon and orange. Okay, that sounds good. And I actually found out in a later episode that mixing them actually gives you certain abilities. Like, for example, the lemon and orange, just the mixing with lemon just gives you a bow and arrow. But if you mix with the peach one, apparently, hang on, excuse me. Apparently, it's supposed to give you like. At first, I thought it was like you could read minds, but it's just that you have super hearing like Superman. And if you mix with the cherry one, you just get superhuman speed. Sorry. And before I forget, 2 of the writers that I know of have sing their own insert theme. So the actor for Kamen Rider Gaim has his sings his insert theme, and the actor that plays the Banana Kamen Rider sings his insert theme. And if you heard from my intro, they have a song together. And before I mention this again, Kamen Rider Gaim, each rider is meant to look like, I guess, ancient warriors, quote unquote. Because Gaim is meant to look like a samurai with suit. The banana one is meant to look like a knight. And I think there's one that's meant to look like a Roman soldier, which I think are called gladiators, but I'm probably wrong. And before I forget to mention this part as well, they're not called Kamen Rider, they're called Armored Rider. There's a crossover, Shoei Riders versus Heisei Riders. Since it was the 15th anniversary of the Heisei generation, there is a crossover with all 15 Shoei, I think, and then all 15 Heisei. And it's called, well, Heisei versus Shoei. And there are 2 alternate versions. One where the Heisei Riders win, and the one where Shoei Rider wins, and I'll show you both endings. Oh, I made a mistake. That's where it says the Shoei Riders win. The Heisei version, when Ichigo is still willing to fight, and then Gaim acknowledges that, and then says he surrenders. And then Ichigo acknowledges Gaim and gives him the blessing of being called a Kamen Rider, which is very fucking cool. And this is how the Heisei Riders win. Is when Ichigo is about to rider kick Gaim, but he's willing to sacrifice himself for 1 flower. And then Ichigo realizes what he has done. And then he admits defeat. And then this is where he gives him the blessing to be called a Kamen Rider. And gives him a hand. Which I find both endings very cool. Because the movie is basically the Shoei Riders, like the very first one, like Ichigo, hating the Heisei Riders, but then acknowledge them at the end. And then the very first Kamen Rider gives you the permission or the blessing, whatever you want to say, to be called a Kamen Rider. Is that not cool? Also, there is an order to watch this. They show a trailer, then you're supposed to watch the Heisei vs. Shoei, and then the Tokyuja crossover. I almost ended the video without explaining what the trumpet is. So you have to mix it like you would if you were a DJ. And there's a knob right here where you can make it a high pitch. And it sounds like this. And then you basically have a machine gun. And then you twist it again. And then you use the knob to make a lower frequency. And then you basically get a fucking rocket launcher, which is very cool. And this is where Gaim's insert theme comes in, where the actor sings it. And there's even a way to mix the regular sword with the blaster and make a giant sword, which is very, very, very cool. Which I think is a little broken. But I'm not complaining because it's really fucking cool. So as always, the top link in my description will be a link to watch Kamen Rider Gaim, and there will be a little icon thing to the first part of History of Gaim, because he explains it, Marco Satsu explains it way better than I do. So have a nice day, and later. Oh, I'm doing that with my hands again.